Hello, my name is Nick, a co-founder of Hustle, a community that Ethan and I have set up in order for resellers to connect, share, and grow together. And the latest way that we have thought for people to do this is through this show that we are calling Let's Talk. And the whole idea behind this is that we are getting on 2 or more people to come and talk about a subject, really deep dive into it, to give you guys a true insight onto that topic. And today we are talking about Supreme, the brand. And we have got Joel from ByThePeace, someone who is reselling Supreme himself and has been involved in the brand for years, being taught it by his older brother and just loving what it's standing for. And the other person we got on is Ollie from SolusSupply. He has done some reselling of it before. He has absolutely loved the brand, but has seen a change in the brand in the last 3, 4, maybe 5 years that has taken him away from a little bit, but he just can't stop checking out what the brand is doing. This is a really, really good episode. I have learned so much. I even test myself a little bit at the end and they tell me how well I've done. So make sure you look out for that. And just so you guys know that we are on a mission to help out every single person who is a reseller to join this community. And so every time you watch a video, you like, you share, you subscribe, you are helping us get that step closer to helping out every single person. So help us to help you, and let's get straight into it. We've got 2 people on here that definitely know what they're talking about when it comes to Supreme. At least like way more qualified than what I am. And if you guys are happy to jump straight into this, yeah?
Yeah, sure, go for it.
All right, so the first thing that needs to be talked about is that on Thursday, there is a new release, the SB Dunks, that you guys actually told me was happening. But apparently, this is how removed I am from Supreme, that everyone's talking about this. I just found out about it, and now I need you guys to let me know, what is it, why is it so much hype, and what's your opinions on it? Ollie, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, sure. So the Nike SB Dunk is obviously like a super popular silhouette at the moment anyway, and Nike's rinsing it, done collaborations with pretty much every streetwear brand that is out there, and well, pretty much everyone already anyway. So they're, of course, they're going to do a collaboration with Supreme on it. It's based on is it a Jordan 1 or I can't remember the exact model, but back in 2002, 2003, they released a very similar model.
It was the Dunk Highs,
yeah, Dunk High, yeah. So Dunk High, and so it came out in like a baby blue, a red, and
orange,
yeah, and they were amazing. They were fire. Like I remember seeing them being worn by a guy, Michi Darko from Flatbush Zombies. He's a rapper. And I remember seeing him on stage with them for the first time I'd ever seen them, and I was like, shit, like they're amazing. So these dunks are pretty special, to be fair. Not too sure on the colors, but yeah, I've got my eyes on them.
I'm in agreement with that. I think them themselves aren't that nice, in my own opinion. I would probably prefer to get the OGs, but the thing is that because of it's almost like a re-release, and they've also changed the model to a model that everyone's feeling right now, because everyone likes the lows more than the highs. So the hype is just like insane, and it's more than like it's ever kind of been, because every time they go and retro something from the past and also make it better, you have like the OG heads wanting it, the young people wanting it, like the whole Supreme as a whole wants it. Yeah.
So they got so much hype because it's based off this release from 2002, 2003?
I don't think so, because I don't think many people really actually care about that anymore. That like a lot of the people who are wanting the dunks will just be wanting it, one, because it's a dunk and that's perfect for summer, and also the hype behind the dunks at the moment, and 2, it's Supreme, and also it's got nice stars and stuff on it, and croc skin or whatever the upper is, I forget. But yeah, I mean, I really rate it because of the inspiration from the previous drop, however many years ago. But I don't think many people, like Joel said, it will be the OG heads who will be like, wow, you know, they've done that, they've taken this away and they've added something else. But I think it's mainly just because it's just 2 massive iconic brands coming together on a really popular shoe already.
Definitely agree with that, and also the resale value it's going to have. I think one thing that's kind of turned Supreme into almost like a negative direction has been the focus just on primarily reselling it. So when you see something like this, which people are predicting like certain colorways to go up to like £800, let's say, and it's, you know, retailing at like 120, like the profit margin is so huge that it just makes, you know, even random people are going to just see this on Instagram and be like, I'm going to do it. I need money. It's COVID. I need money. So everyone's just looking towards it as like a big event of money making.
100%. It's like the Nike Air Diors that came out last year. I have loads of mates who have never ever bought a, you know, or queued up or tried to enter a raffle for a limited pair of sneakers, and then for that everyone entered. There were over like 1 million entries for the shoe. Like it was literally just like a lottery. Like once you got it, you've made a guaranteed few £1,000s. Like it's an opportunity for anyone to seize, really.
So we talked about the dunks, but what about as a whole? Whenever it came out, whether you've owned it or not, what is your favorite either piece of clothing or collaboration or the little like items that Supreme make? What's your favorite one that you have ever seen or owned?
I mean, I would have to say personally, the thing I love the most is like their OG varsity jackets. Like as a whole, there's like all the ones from like the 90s, early 2000s. Just the effort they put into them is like so superior to like anything you really see, you know, embroidery like all down the arms, patches, the materials. It was like a whole nother level of fashion in streetwear. And nowadays you kind of see it less, you know, the effort into each individual piece. So I would definitely say those.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I have to agree. Yeah, the varsities were fantastic, and they still, I mean, when they do release them, they're pretty good. But obviously, the attention to detail, like they used to put into it, has probably fallen off a bit. I remember, did you have I think I saw when you were doing the competition for best items. Did you send in a video of you with the Supreme jacket on?
Yes, it's a 1997 varsity. It was actually crazy because I actually found it on Depop. I literally just typed in Supreme and I was like, I need some more stock. And it was like 1 minute ago, someone posted it and it already had like 10 likes. Jesus. And then I asked, and then I bought it straight away. And I messaged him like, where did you get it from? It's like, oh, my dad used to work in New York and all of this, that. And I was like, I'm never really gonna find it again. So I was like, why not?
Yeah, I love those pieces with like some history to it. I'm gonna kick myself after the cool because I'm trying to think of like my favorite piece, and I know there's like I've got a lot of them. Like I've got a massive list of ones that I want to get from like 10, 15 years ago. I think some of my favorite ones are the photo tees. So like the Raekwon, the Dipset, the Kate Moss, Kermit, Tyson, all 3-6 Mafia, all of those, they were like iconic, and they kind of opened up Supreme and propelled it into like superstardom. Like, you know, iconic celebrities like Mike Tyson being seen wearing a box logo t-shirt really did kind of elevate them as a brand. And I think also another favorite of mine would be the Illegal Business Controls America t-shirt, which was released maybe late 90s. And that was, I just love the history behind that t-shirt. A banker, I think, was done for fraud, and he was seen getting taken out onto like the court steps with FBI's holding his arms behind his back, and he's seen wearing a Supreme box logo t-shirt with, you know, just white with the red box logo, and they made a t-shirt of him with like a little photo of him from the newspaper clipping and called it Illegal Business Controls America. And I was like, that's just sick. Like, you're just owning, like, that's it, like what Supreme is to me is just like, well, is I don't know, they're kind of just like a rebellious counterculture brand that was based in New York and really actually owned a fraudulent banker wearing a t-shirt like that and being like, yeah, fuck yeah, he's wearing my t-shirt like that. So what? it's sick.
I think obviously I'm looking more on the outside. I'm not as in it as you guys are, but those tees with the print of someone wearing Supreme or just the little logo tagged on it somewhere, those I think they are the ones for me. But you've talked about it a little bit, both of you have. there has been a definite change of the brand over the last 3, 4, 5 years. And if you guys could educate me on exactly what that is, that would be great. So, Ollie, if we throw this over to you.
Yeah, I feel like I kind of joined in Supreme just before, like when I joined into getting into Supreme in 2013. I think it was about summer of 2013, maybe a bit earlier. There was a definite hype to it, but I thought that it was kind of reaching like a saturation point, maybe 2015, 2016 sort of time. But it was actually like a couple years later, you then really saw prices go up even higher. They got a store in London in 2011. They got, website, started fulfilling like online orders for all over the world. More celebrities started getting seen in their clothes. StockX came out, Depop, and reselling culture grew massively. And then as a result of reselling growing, BBC and all these other news outlets then started going, oh, look at reselling. It can make you hundreds of pounds on the side a month or whatever. And all these people started getting into Supreme and hyping it up even more because as they, as Joel said, it's a money-making machine for some people to just jump on, try their chances, get a t-shirt and flip it for 40 quid more 2 minutes later. And I don't know, it kind of, as it got bigger and bigger and it's been adopted more in society and more by people who are jumping into the streetwear game, it's kind of lost track of itself a bit, and it starts collaborating with Louis Vuitton, which I found, although it's a cool collaboration and it has got some great pieces, I find it a bit strange collaborating with such a massive luxury brand compared to what Supreme is as like a streetwear brand. So I saw that was a bit weird. And then obviously they've been taken over by IG Group, I think they're called, who own Timberland, North Face, Vans, etc., etc. And so they're just now another company in their armory of massive brands. So yeah, I guess it's kind of done its whole cycle of it's sprouted, become a butterfly and flown off, and now it's just been bought by a huge conglomerate business.
Yeah, I definitely agree with the whole, essence that they're just kind of, they're becoming lazy on the designs and the whole style of it being like you kind of stand out from the crowd. Even if the thing you said about Louis Vuitton, they got sued by Louis Vuitton in the early 2000s when they made a similar design, and then you collaborate with them. So that I think in itself showed like the full circle of like going from we don't care to like we're so big now, we'll just do what we want. And I even have like a couple pieces from the Dead Kennedys kind of collection, and they had like a hoodie with like Kennedy's family all with like bullet holes in their head, and it's like that is like serious stuff. But now, and like I think on the back it says like too drunk to fuck or something like that, like these really like obnoxious things. And nowadays they just would do like the most silly, like just random designs that don't really keep with that same message. I feel like at the same time though, it was like it's inevitable to happen, because even if things like Jordan 1s right now, everything kind of picks up and then it hits its peak. And the peak is when, everyone's kind of involved in it with the celebrities and all that. And then it just has to die down. Like it can never stay at that, that level. And I think Supreme just followed that cycle.
Do you think it's declining? Like, has it already begun its decline, or is it yet to hit that?
I think it's definitely begun.
Yeah.
I think it's begun with the fact that even things like t-shirts, like I see Supreme t-shirts on Depop sometimes for like £20, and I don't buy it because I know I can only flip it for like 35. And unless I'm buying 10, like it's not worth it. I could go and rather buy another brand that can sell a lot better, like Bape or something, or Vintage. So it's like when you know that there's literally stock you can get for cheap and you're like resisting to buy it, because that is in itself is a sign that like it's just not where it used to be. And even like I got some stuff from week 1 and it's like no one's interested in it. Like whereas before you would get stuff, put it on your story, get 10 messages. Now it's like you get stuff and no one really cares.
Well, it's this drop culture as well, because everyone, I found that, I mean, so when I first started getting into it, it was quite bad with people would buy something, wear it or talk about it for the week or two that it came out, and then then the prices would decline. But now, like, if you don't get certain week one stuff sold within week one, then you're stuck with it for a few more weeks, because people don't, they're literally looking to the next week and the next week and the next week. And like you said, the resale prices, what's really indicative to me is that Supreme box logos used to be like the most sought after thing that they could release. And now they're cross box logos. They did the long sleeve t-shirts in, I can't remember if it was last season or the season before, but they're reselling for like the lowest I've ever seen a box logo resell for. So although maybe people aren't liking the simple box logo designs anymore, and they're liking more crazy graphic ones, who knows? But I think that is kind of a telltale sign that Supreme they're kind of losing their edge a bit, because their most iconic piece that people used to like buy fakes of, and people used to, queue up for hours to get, is now only selling for about 150 quid or something. On the long sleeve tees are going for about 150 quid on StockX or something. So I guess also what screws that over is the availability of all the sellers now. Like we were saying about how resellers are everywhere with Depop and StockX and stuff. Like when you've got something that's from week one, then if someone's looking for it and they don't look on Depop, they'll just look on StockX and they can buy it immediately. There's going to be hundreds of sellers on StockX trying to sell that same thing. So yeah, it's a lot of things have just kind of slowly eroded the brand away, but it's still going strong. Just, I think it's just appealing to a different market now. A lot of people who would have wanted Supreme forever, like for the last 10 years, the people who never knew really how to get it unless they got it on eBay and then it turns out it's fake. I think a lot of these people are now finally going to be able to buy stuff that they want to get. And I think that's going to dilute the brand even more and make it less and less desirable.
I think as a whole as well, with like a lot of, I think the biggest impact reselling has on these big brands is that it's the demand we perceive is not actually there.
Yeah.
Because with something like Supreme, things sell out. So we think there's demand, but it's demand for people to buy it, to resell. It's not actually demand for people to keep. It's the exact same with Yeezys and Jordan ones. Like Yeezys are pretty much dead now as well. So, they went from the £1,000 and now they're retail. Like I bought the Quantums, and I used to think of them as, like the greatest shoe because they released the All-Star weekend and Kanye was in like these big trucks handing them out and stuff. And then now they got put on Adidas yesterday, I think, for retail, like 6 months after, and no one's buying it because no one cares. But at the time, everyone cared because they could flip it. And it's the same with Supreme. People cared back then because they could flip it. But nowadays, it's like no one actually wants to keep the product. We just want the product to sell. 100%. And therefore, that's why it sells for so cheap, because everyone that owns it is trying to sell it. No one's actually keeping it. Yeah.
Well, you guys have both given me massive insight into Supreme. Like I said at the start, I did not know a lot about the brand, only a very, very basic understanding. But now I feel like even I could have some sort of idea of where Supreme is going in the next sort of 5 years. And let me try. So Supreme, they're going to be releasing more of this stuff based off the resale. The quality is going to be a bit lower. They'll be repeating a few designs or just tweaking a few designs, not really putting too much thought into it, not really capturing the culture of what's going on at the minute. It's just basically slapping Supreme on stuff and doing loads of collabs. And eventually that is going to fall away as people realize that the demand is for the sellers market. The more normal people are just looking for the old stuff, and the new stuff is just going to fade away. And who knows how long that's going to take, but you are going to start seeing it fade. Is that a sort of...
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much summed up. I mean, I don't know how, as you said, I don't know when it will be, but it's surely got to happen, because we're seeing it as Joel said with, the Yeezys and things. They, at one point, they were like untouchable. Like you wouldn't have thought that, some of these shoes would just kind of decline like they have, and it happens with every company. I suppose Supreme's probably had its day.
Yeah. And one thing with Supreme as well, though, it's like, I don't think it will ever actually like completely die out. I think because of the level it got to, it's never going to be, you know, unrecognizable. People are always going to still comment that you wear Supreme, because even my friends, if I wear like a £60 Supreme hoodie, they all gas me up and they come around me like, oh, he's got Supreme. Because in the normal person's mind that doesn't resell Supreme, Supreme still is a very high thing. When I tell a friend I got a Supreme t-shirt for 30, they're like, oh, so you're gonna sell it for 200? Because they don't even understand how the current state is, because they still see Supreme as what used to be.
So there's the conversation with Joel and Ollie. I really enjoyed myself and I learned so much. Honestly, was only an onlooker from Supreme before, but now I feel like I could go and chat shit to anyone. So thank you guys very much for that. Their links are in the description down below, as well as ours if you guys want to get more involved in this community.